Welcome back to the Mail-In Podcast. I am your host, Brett Merriman. Sitting in front of me, two Mail-In Podcast veterans. One of them has been on the show with me before. One of them new. So I guess introducing, I was going to say your previous last names, but I wrote these down so I wouldn't. Lily Boettcher and Sally deFries. What's going on, guys?
FKA Jung Sisters.
FKA, formerly known as. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Formerly known as
I'm out of the game.
the Jung Sisters. How are you guys?
Great.
We are great. We're on the same baby schedule, so this worked out well.
What is that? So you guys texted me, you said a couple minutes late.
That's
my
constant.
son just woke up from a nap a little late. So what's like, there's the schedule portion is from somebody who completely has no idea what that means. You just have to get things every day is the same pretty much. You try to get the same baby stuff.
You're trying. Is he still on a 3-hour schedule?
Mm-hmm.
Both of them are on a 3-hour schedule, so they're supposed to be set times, but like babies don't abide by a schedule.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Unless
So-
you're kind of a Nazi like me.
Lily is a Nazi. I'm more free.
Go with the flow.
it.
Okay.
But depending on when they wake up, it's like you feed them, they play, they go down for a nap, basically in a 3-hour time block, forever and ever until your life ends. So
Got it. Okay.
that's what's going on. And also, like I said, if somebody's like, okay, be there at 2, even if I try my hardest and start getting it ready at 1:30,
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting there at 2:15. No
Oh,
matter what.
yeah. I mean, today at noon, I was like, okay, Drew, we need to leave in an hour and 20 minutes. And just as the time kept creeping, it was like, okay, well, now I'm waiting for Bane to wake up. And so I was doing everything to prepare for once he was awake. But then he slept late, and they say you never wake a sleeping baby. So I was texting Sally, like,
I wake
about
sleeping babies.
I was like, I'm about to wake him up, but I'm just like giving him every minute I can before I'm too late. And then I was still late. So
It's okay. You guys
constant.
are here, ready to go on the Mail-In
We're not
hates
going to
it.
talk about babies anymore because that's all we discuss all the time.
all the time.
We need to like broaden our horizons, discuss other people's issues.
Well, let
not-
me
Yeah.
let me cut
Unless
the 3
people have
baby
questions
questions
about
real quick.
babies.
No,
There-
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
There's one baby adjacent question that you can kind of brush off. Anyway,
yeah.
you may be wondering, what is the Mail-In Podcast? If you're here for the first time, we do our best to answer your questions. You may run into situations in your 20s or 30s that you need help with, and we're gonna try to help out. Get a laugh in, maybe you walk away with something useful. How can you help us out there? Tell a friend about the Mail-In Podcast. It is the easiest way to get into washed media because it's just questions and answers. It's that simple. Send them a clip, send them a segment that makes sense. Our producer A.Town over there is going to cut some stuff up from this episode that I'm excited about. Subscribe on iTunes and follow on Spotify. Hit the hotline number to leave a voicemail. We have one of those today. 888-362-MAIL. That's 888-362-6245. Or you can write in at the link in the Twitter/Instagram bio at Mail-In Podcast. Before we get going, Sally, I can't remember if I asked you this, but before we get into the questions, what were first of all, did you call it A.I.M. or A.I.M?
AIM.
I think I called it AIM. What did we call
AIM.
it? Yeah.
It was so.
The only
No,
time
I
you
think
called
I
it-
called it AIM.
Let's go, Sally. I'm an A.I.M. guy.
I would well, you
I
would
think
say
I called it AIM.
AIM Instant Messenger was like the whole thing, but then just short was AIM, like your AIM screen name.
Yeah.
No, I think I said AIM.
I said A.I.M. too. Like, are we gonna chat on A.I.M. later?
I'm quite the abbrever in just a normal setting, so I'm not surprised that I say AIM.
Yeah. I think you've asked this before, but you know that Will was an MSN Messenger guy.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
Psychopath.
What the hell is MSN Messenger?
Nobody knows. That's the thing. It's
That was when you had to like go online and type like in an online chat box,
Like-
right?
like what Facebook
chat
chat is
support.
now, yeah.
yeah.
No.
Be on MSN.com looking at whatever the hell.
MSN. Is that still
So
around?
psychotic.
The little butterfly. I don't
Will's
even know
out
if
there
it's
still chatting with people on MSN.
He's like, our whole school did it. It was way cooler than AIM. I was like, are you sure?
No, it wasn't, because AIM or AIM, you could have sub profiles, and
buddy profiles.
buddy profile, away messages. Those were great.
Did you subtly leave some messages for some people in an away message?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
calling
your
people
voice
up?
was the soundtrack of my summer.
And if you were
Duh.
really cool, you would like, if you were kind of talking to someone, then you'd like go away for a minute and put your away message so they would purposely see it. And then
Yeah.
like, because you were too busy to talk all
Like,
day.
just a subtle message for them, like, the love of my life is
Ooh.
something. I don't know.
Will
No,
say.
my
I
move
was
was-
quite emo.
My move was like the lyrics,
Yeah.
in up and down letters with the squigglies on the ends of the lyrics,
Yeah.
Did y'all do the initials of your best friends too? Like people would do like TC.
Yeah,
PM.
initials, and then there was like you would put like birthdays and like dates
Oh.
and code. Like what did those mean? Like the guy you liked.
I'm actually having this
number.
weird flashback.
I can tell Sally's eyes are just like darting.
But like,
She's
I
"Oh my
think
God."
I don't remember how long we used AIM for. Probably like into high school, but like, I
Oh
don't know,
yeah,
like,
middle school for sure, and then maybe like ninth grade.
I think ninth and sophomore year. And so I remember I was chatting with one of my friends. I'm just going to call him out, Cash.
Shouts to Cash.
We weren't even that close. And he left an away message that just said, I wish you'd get hit by a bus. And then it had like a bus and like
was he
whatever.
talking to you?
And he was talking to me, and I was like, what the hell? We're not even friends. But apparently he got really offended that I like invited all these people to a Mexican restaurant for a dinner, and he didn't get invited to Matt's.
Dos Salsa. Oh,
And it was like
Matt's.
we went to our sophomore year, like Christmas, we went to the Trail of Lights and then went to Matt's El Rancho as like
Ever
a
heard of
group.
it?
And I didn't
Yeah.
invite him. And then he left an away message that said, I hope you get hit by a bus.
Oh
with like a
my
bus
God.
in dashes. That was,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with like you made the
yeah.
things with dashes
It's
and
like, in
quotation
retrospect,
marks.
a super psychotic move.
How did you
That's
know
so
it was
rude.
about you?
because
Because you must have found out later that he was offended.
because then I was like, who's that about? Like, to
He's
his
like-
away message, he was like, you. I think I was just like, oh shit. Yeah, so you just started chatting me out of the blue and then left an away message just for me to see.
Damn.
Yeah, that's rude.
What's Cash up to these days?
I think
He's
he's
married.
actually a medical salesperson in Fort Worth. Just if you know
I
Cash,
think he has kids.
tell him I know about him wanting to run me over with a bus.
Oh my.
God.
Regina George style. I mean,
Sally and I didn't have MySpace, so we really put MySpace. That was,
Yeah.
So we really put all of our energy into our profiles on it.
Yeah, of course.
Or AIM.
What was your screen name?
My first screen name was Blonde Babe QT11.
mine was
Blonde Babe QT.
QT Pie Sally.
QT Pie Sally, and then
Both
somehow
with the QT.
I got kicked off because they said I was under 13, which I wasn't. So then I changed it to Big Red 8507.
Why 8507?
I don't even know. I think 8 because
Your
it's my
birthday?
lucky number, and 07 was the year I graduated. But then I was like, it wouldn't let me do 807, so I just had to put a 5 in there.
Oh, 11 is my birthday number, so
That's solid.
QT11. But
That's
my
solid.
friends had some good ones. Actually, at my birthday party, what was that, 3 years ago?
Oh, yeah, the
I made
90s
everyone
one.
write their screen names on a
Name tag.
name tag and put it, because the theme was like 11-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made everyone put them on there. And some people had some really psycho ones.
Yeah.
Then there was always like the XOXO name, XOXO up or down, or,
Yeah.
caps lock.
100%. One of the girls, Kelly, who was on the mail-in a couple weeks ago, she had the original cool, sexy babe.
Oh,
wow.
Straight up.
With zeros?
With no
Or-
zeros, no
or-
She
X's.
was on the game.
She was on
Early.
the game early. I
What was
like,
yours?
B Chewy 090. Yeah.
Wow.
That's my
What was
B.
Harry's? Like Hook 'em Harry?
Hook 'em Harry 1117.
That's solid.
Emily's was Millie Pie 05.
But then she was Slimily or Imbo or something. I
Yeah.
forgot.
And what was Natalie's? She was kind of not on
Natalie's
the game.
too cool for AIM.
Yeah.
Too cool. You know what's unfortunate? Our Adam over here, A-Town, never had one. Doesn't even know what AIM is.
I saw that. You were on
It
last
hurts.
week. I saw that. When he said, what is
Does
that? I
that
was like,
qualify him
that's
as
how.
a Gen Zer?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Are you a Gen Zer?
No,
you're a
I
millennial.
snuck in. I think 96 is the cutoff. I'm 94.
Adam, when were you
So,
born?
2000.
Oh,
2000,
Jesus
that hurts.
Christ.
oh my gosh.
That hurts.
It's really upsetting that people born in 2000 are 21.
Right?
That's
I saw that
concerning.
on like the 7-Eleven window the other day. If
Yeah.
you were born in 2000, I was like, whoa, that throws you off for a second.
Yikes.
So old.
Anyway,
Yikes.
Anyway.
That's all I have to say about that.
let's get to the questions on the mail.
Okay.
We could talk AIM all day.
And I'm getting my bonus question is why I'm on my phone. I had
You're
to
good.
ask Drew what it was.
You're good. Shouts to Drew.
Shouts to Drew.
Lily, Brett, and Sally. They do a little like asterisk. The asterisk is left with giant bar tab. ... A few
Okay.
weekends ago was my best friend's bachelorette party. We went to a bar on the last night, and instead of having all separate tabs, we put it all on one, mine, and decided to split it evenly. The next day, when we went to figure out how much everyone owed, several girls refused to pay the even split amount. How do I get them to help pay up? Or excuse me, how do I help? How do I get them to pay up after they agreed to it?
You really need some help. And this is the tab for just that bar tab or like the whole weekend?
It is
Just the
the
bar tab.
the last bar tab on the last night. She put it all on hers. We said, we'll get everybody even tomorrow. Now it's tomorrow, and some girls are like, wait a second, I didn't drink as much as Jessica, so I'm not playing even for it.
Yikes.
Sally!
Little known fact about Lily.
Uh-oh.
She doesn't like to split checks. Evenly.
I've changed my mind on that, but on any party or like bachelorette party, first of all, this is not sponsored, but you got to get Splitwise. Obviously, I've talked about that on here before, and people thought it was sponsored. It's not. Splitwise is genius, but I think with any party or like bachelorette, you just assume that everything is going to be split evenly.
Mm-hmm.
Lily got into a fight with intern Klein one time about not paying part of the tab because she hadn't drank or something. I forgot what happened.
I do think that when you're pregnant, you shouldn't, like when all of our trips that we go on right now, especially I have a lot of friends that are pregnant, and so we always like just
Congrats on
count
the
them
sex to all
out.
of them,
Yeah,
though.
congrats
Yeah.
to them. I count them out. So unless someone was literally not drinking, I do agree that maybe you don't.
Right.
Partake.
But again, the rules are if you agree ahead of time, you should pay. Especially it's like,
Oh, yeah.
if it's like the mutual agreed upon thing that you're going to a dinner, you're going to a bar tab or whatever, and everyone's like, if speak now or forever hold your peace. Like if you're going to show up and be like, hey, I'm not going to drink. I'm going to get my own tab,
Yeah, for sure.
whatever. But again, she can't control the friends now. She just wants to get paid. Unfortunately, first of all, pro move by this girl, putting it on your tab, getting those
Get
points.
the
Points,
points.
girl.
You
Points,
got to
girl.
do that.
Love a good points person.
And you're
on a
not
trip.
trying to go to a bar 10 deep and go, we're each going to have our own tab. I mean, absolutely not. You're
Or
gonna,
even worse, like we're gonna have 4, and so like me and you 3
Are
and
gonna
then
be
me
on
and
one,
these 2.
yeah.
That's even worse than being like, okay,
put
we're just
this
gonna
on
have
her.
10.
Just put it
Yeah.
all on one.
You need
Right.
a one tab person.
And you know, if you're going to do that, Jessica, you got to drink. I mean, that's the thing.
Right.
It's like if you're going in and you know you're going to be drinking and splitting it, then get your fair share worth. Get you a shot.
Yeah, Jessica,
Yeah,
don't
Jessica.
just drink a vodka soda, one single
Yeah.
vodka soda.
Yeah,
okay?
you're gonna go
get in
in
there
and go hard.
Get a Grey Goose Cosmo, okay? Like I'm fucking Jessica. Like
Like, absolutely not. The only excuse I have, and I have gotten in fights about people before, but is if you aren't going to drink or you're not partaking, then you step out in advance. Like,
Right,
hey, I'm
that's
not
what-
drinking tonight. Count me out on the tab. Whatever.
But
That's
they all agreed. So here's the thing. Unfortunately, you can't force people to pay you. So you can passive aggressively send them the Venmo request and then
And
you
remind
can do
them.
the reminder. Hit him with the reminder, hit him with the text. And then it sounds like she might be like the maid of honor or something, like her best friend.
You're
You got to
probably
get your
gonna-
best friend involved because clearly
Yeah.
she probably knows some of these girls better.
Oh yeah, bachelorette parties are awkward because there's always like a few
Yeah,
people
oh,
that
yeah.
you're not like super
Right.
connected with.
First of all, if it's your friend, like if say Jessica is like you're pretty good friends with Jessica and not just like a random like high school friend of the bride's, you're not paying for Jessica's shit ever again. I've had friends pull this. I'm like, I'm not splitting anything with you. You don't ever pay me
Yeah.
back. It's like a well-known joke. We're like, oh, your Venmo is always broken. Like it's so.
Ooh, yeah, one of Drew's friends. I'm not gonna call him out.
Ooh,
'cause
call
I
him
think
out,
he
call him
listens. Okay, shouts Logan. Never pays. And
Shit.
so
just did that.
when I owe him, I pay him back in $10 increments just to piss him off. Like I owed him $100, and I was like, okay, if you keep your attitude up, I'll give you $10 every hour on the hour. And he was like, just pay me. And I was like, how does it feel? How
Yeah.
does it feel?
So if you're close with these girls, I mean, full shame. Get like just start hitting them with like.
Or tell
Text.
the group text like, thanks everyone for paying back. Besides Sally, who still
Yeah.
owes me on Venmo.
You gotta call these people out because we don't have room in our lives for these people. And then if it's like a random friend, if Jessica's like a random high school friend that only the bride knows, then you gotta get the bride to put some pressure on her. Like,
I like that.
hey,
Hey, I know. Yeah, you got to pay.
Yeah.
Although there is one scenario on the other side, like besides the not drinking thing, is like Drew went on a bachelor party and the bachelor actually was there, or actually it was Drew's bachelor party, and the best man,
Ben.
we'll just call him out. When I was
Calling
trying not to
everybody
call him
out.
out, like wanted to tip this girl like $1,000. Okay, and like none of the guys agreed to that, right? So
No.
at the
Right.
end, he can't charge everyone $100 because he wanted to tip the girl
Right.
$1,000. That you just have to own. So if you go to the bar tab and you buy bottle service and didn't okay it with everyone, then yeah, probably gonna need to pick that one up
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
But if y'all just all agreed and you're all getting vodka sodas, then you got to split it.
Yeah, and then unfortunately, I mean, you take some L's when you're the person putting your card down. Like
You do get the points, yeah, but
you
it
get
comes
the
with
points,
the cons.
and especially when you're not close with everyone, you expect somebody to be a straggler and come in 3 months later with their payment. You're like, couldn't do that 3 months ago.
Literally 3 months ago.
But I mean, people are just shitty.
I'm imagining this like one of these girls, Jessica. She's
Breaking
like, well,
Jessica.
I had 2 vodka sodas and everybody else had 4. So
Well,
like-
too bad. You should
and-
have gotten
right,
double.
Exactly. That's
what I'm
My
saying.
point. If you're right about pregnancy or not drinking, and you're upfront, hey, I'm getting Diet Coke and fajitas, and like that's what I'm doing. My own tab. Please don't worry
Yeah.
about me. That's fine. If you are involved with the party at all, you're split it. Have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
It's not worth the 9 different bar tabs y'all had that weekend to get mad over $14.
Why did I get mad at Klein again?
Because you had just had a tamale.
Oh, that was a rookie mistake. I should have gotten like, the steak #1 dinner or something.
Yeah.
There's also the like if you get there halfway through, and you get
Yeah.
like you have a scoop of queso and like 2 martinis, and you're just like, oh,
What-
now I'm,
what
now I'm
shocks
paying for
me,
everybody. I've been
Is
there
that
before.
we've answered this question probably like, I don't know, 10 times, and people still do it. People still fuck
Yeah.
up and just don't pay people. It's shocking. Like
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, people are shitty. That's the best advice I can give you. Like people.
Well, no,
just-
I think you gave some good tips though. Get the bride on her if you don't know her very well.
Public shame works. Really
Public
well.
shame them in the group. You definitely have a group text going. So saying everyone else that paid
Right.
and then being like,
Call them out on a specific
Jessica didn't
podcast.
pay me.
Yeah.
And then, like Sally said, sometimes you just have to like eat the $20. Like, okay, it's not worth. Now we're gonna go to this wedding, and Jessica fucking hates me because I kept calling her out publicly. So I'll just pay her $20.
But that's the beauty of it, because now you can talk hours of shit about Jessica with your other friends. And
At
now
the
you-
wedding.
Now you have something to bond with these people over. How much you all hate Jessica. Great.
Perfect. I love it.
Jessica and her 1 vodka soda.
Yeah.
Fucking Jessica, drink.
Jessica.
Yeah, balls.
Come on, Jessica.
Just roast some balls and
loser.
drink up.
How about a voicemail, guys?
Let's do it.
What's up, Brett and Best? It's your boy Chris from Northeastern. Brett, as you know, every year we do the Lakehouse weekend, and, every year there's new friends, new groups. At what point do I have to, or at what point can I stop feeling bad about not inviting the people that I feel like I have to invite? There's people that have been there years in the past that feel like they deserve an invite, but I've just gotten closer to other people now, and I feel like I just want to invite who I want to invite. Just want to hear your advice. Thanks, man.
Shouts to Chris from Northeastern.
So
That's
Good.
sounds like Chris has a lake house.
Like Chris has a lake house that we've been to a number of times over the years, and
Oh, you've been to
yeah,
you know
So
Chris.
I know Chris.
Oh,
Do
wow.
you know who he's talking? Is he talking about you?
No, he's not talking.
What
about
if
me.
this was
Brett-
his way of like,
Of being like, Brett, I'm
Disinviting
sorry. I
you.
don't want
Oh,
you to
could
come
be.
anymore.
He did
where
t-
is the lake house?
New Hampshire, near Lake Winnipesaukee.
Oh man, everything's better at the lake if you know
That's
what I'm
what,
saying.
you know.
Winnipesaukee.
True lakeheads know
Right.
everything's better at the
Oh,
lake.
do you?
The
Sally, Lake extraordinaire.
I was at the lake house last weekend.
Well, we don't own a lake house.
Okay, I'm just yeah.
The
You're
question.
acting like we are like lake rats.
Uh-oh. Oh no. Are we back at him?
Oh, no.
Okay. The question's important though. So you've had friends at your house or lake house for years, and now you just have a new group of friends. You only have like 4 bedrooms.
Yeah.
And
You're
how
gonna
do
have to
you-
give some people the axe?
It's
When-
a 4-bedroom house. How many people usually go to this situation?
There's a good 12 or so,
12.
10
okay.
to 12.
Okay.
Brett's speaking. He's number one on the list, so he's
Oh,
he's,
I'm not number.
he's in the clear.
I wouldn't call myself number one.
Top five?
It'd be fair to say that I make the cut. I think that's the way to put
this
it.
is
Well,
not his way
maybe
of telling
this year,
you.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
this isn't his way of telling you that you're out next year.
It could be. It is a long.
Chris,
it's a
tell us
hike.
the truth. Tweet us and tell us the truth.
But how do you, if like it's a yearly thing, everybody gets like psyched for it.
Right.
How do you
Ooh,
cut people?
that makes it tougher. I was gonna say if it's just like it casually happens and then like you were at happy hour and y'all decided to go.
Yeah.
But if it's a yearly thing and you're like getting the boot,
You're like,
that's
like
rough.
unfortunate.
the group me usually fires up about a month before.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
this is like a reunion type
Yeah,
situation.
kind of. We've been doing it since college.
Is it just guys?
No. Sig
Guys and girls.
Sig gods.
Okay.
Well, and just girls too,
Okay.
who might have been sig gods at some point.
Okay.
I have differing opinions. In a reunion type sitch, I feel like you kind of keep the reunion group because
Yeah.
that's the point of the reunion.
Mm-hmm.
But
Maybe
like, can
less.
he go to this lake house more than once and invite different groups, different times?
You could.
That's
You
a
could.
solution, maybe.
Okay. I think you just
You just cut them.
cut them. The older I get, the less I care about hurting people's feelings.
Right.
You gotta do you. And I will say this. I also, on the flip side, the less I care about confronting people when I don't get invited to something, be like, hey, heard three of you are going to dinner. Can I
Ooh.
join in? Like,
Well, yeah.
Because
I don't
honestly-
necessarily think maybe these people would invite themselves, but I could be like,
No, I
hey,
know.
why didn't I make the cut this year?
Just
But
a really,
I also-
I got
think-
replaced by Janet. I mean, like, what did Janet do?
Jessica went.
Like, yeah, why did Jessica take my spot? Did I do something wrong?
What I'm saying is, like, I think we're old enough now to just, like, be honest with each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's an incredibly awkward conversation, though, to be like, hey,
This year we got
Hey,
12.
just
you're 14
edged you
this
out.
year.
Toby's
Yeah.
taking your spot.
Yeah.
Toby did buy me a nice birthday gift. I got to
So-
give him the spot.
No, but that's the thing. You do grow closer with people. Like, maybe he's, like, got a work best friend that he, like, spends all of his time with. It's, like, now it's, like, weird that he doesn't invite him to the lake because they're best friends.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe
I
there's
think
a
you
guy
just-
from college that, like, he doesn't keep up
you
with anymore.
only see him that year
Right.
at the reunion.
Pretty
it's
much,
like
yeah.
pretty easy
That's
to cut
kinda
them
how
out.
it works.
I will say, yeah, as we have like a group of couples that we always go on trips with, and we're all like, individually close as couples, and then there's like some that are like, we don't all live in Austin, so some are closer than others, and it just kind of is known as like our group trip, and some people are like, oh, they're going on trips with them, and we don't ever go on trips with people I may be like closer in day-to-day life with, but that's just like we've grown closer as we've gotten out of college, right? So then my college friends that I was like besties in college with might just not be friends with this group anymore.
Right.
So I'm gonna go on a trip with this group of people rather than those people.
I will say, if he really, I'm an advocate of, like, doing whatever the hell you want. So it's your lake house. You don't need somebody to, especially if it's like someone who causes drama or gets like blackout, and then you're like,
Well, yeah,
we
then you
don't
can
need-
just be like, dude, last year you didn't even remember the reunion. Why
Yeah.
are you coming? You're not invited.
But especially if it's somebody that collectively the group is not close with, even if you're not close with them, I would say, I think that's fine. Be prepared to be confronted about it by maybe the person or the person's like good friends who are also going, because that's weird if like you're having to confront Chris being like, hey dude, like, why isn't so and so coming? Like, it's
also
kind of awkward.
You would think like we have a reunion every year with girls from college, and as we've grown up, like all of us stay in contact, but I mean probably the only time we see each other is that reunion of some of us. But then there's one girl that is like only ever speaks to one person that's there. Like none of us have ever talked to her since college. Like we don't ever hang out with her. She lives in the same city as like more than half the girls. They never see her. And so one year we were just like, we're not inviting her. Like she literally doesn't
cut.
speak to anyone, and the only person she speaks to isn't even like gonna be there. So why would we invite her? And we never even heard from her because it was like not that odd that she wasn't
Right.
invited. Like none of us talk to you anymore. So
Right.
why would you be invited?
It's obviously
Don't you
easier-
feel a little awkward if you only talk to one of the people, that the guy whose lake house it is, and no one else? You don't know anyone else.
Yeah.
It's like
it's easier to cut out the person who's not close with anybody.
Yeah.
But if Chris is like drifted away from somebody, but I feel like it's harder to cut out the person if he's not close to them, but the rest of the group is, you know? But at the end of the day, it's still his lake house.
That's what I was going to say. It's Chris's lake house. So if he wants to invite one person that he's buddies with and no one else knows, that's his call.
Right.
Or if he wants to uninvite someone that everyone else is friends with, it's your lake house, so you get to pick.
But be prepared to answer questions from either the person
Why
you
didn't you
didn't
invite Bobby? Bobby's my best friend. It's like, okay,
or
I don't know Bobby.
Answer questions from the collective group, being like, hey, is it weird that so-and-so's not here? I would say two things. One, I think Chris should seek the advice of people who are going to be at the lake, being like, hey, I'm probably not going to invite so-and-so.
So-and-so and so-and-so aren't didn't make the cut this year.
Yeah.
And they're getting replaced
if no
by
one else
two work buddies.
has any big objections to it, just go for it. And two, maybe move the group chat to a different text.
Yeah.
Don't throw it in their face in the group.
And I heard group me. I mean, people we're using group messages on iChat. I mean, iMessage now, right? No one's still using group.
We used the group me because we had an Android in the mix.
Oh, God. Okay, that is a separate issue. That guy should be cut from the group. That's the guy.
Actually, it's pretty easy to be like, we all moved over to iMessage.
Yours didn't cut it. That's how you made the cut.
Yeah. You know
we still have Android users out there. You gotta.
What if it's Brett?
It's me, I swear.
Let's see.
Brett messages are green. Little losers.
Another thing we've run into with this specific group actually is as we've gotten old, it used to be like the boys trip, right? Like sophomore year of college was like the eight of us, like the guys.
The sig
and
others.
now there's sig others in the mix.
So that's what
growing up.
that was my
fiancés,
other question
and it's
is like
fuck, now the couch is very different than the one bedroom that everybody wants, right? It's like because we used to just be able to crash.
Yeah, you should just sleep wherever. Now
and now
we're grown ups, so some of the sig others might be taking place of those guys.
That's my other question.
Yeah,
can you blame it on well, I'm way closer with Brett, so obviously I'm going to invite Brett's girlfriend than random college friend,
who gets wasted and pees himself.
Yeah,
on the ground.
I think, especially using the excuse of the significant others are taking precedent, especially if Chris has a significant other in his
fiance. Shouts to Chris and his fiance.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, that's what it is. Or you have a buddy that might be a little too aggressive with the fireworks and it causes a scene, and we have to call 911. And
if that's really the case, honestly, I think it's so easy to cut that person out because you're straight up liability. We don't need you around.
we don't need you eighth wheeling around or ninth wheeling, I guess.
But also when you're the person who owns the house, you have free reign to be you almost set our roof on fire last year. I don't need you here.
Yeah. We've grown up. Okay. We aren't just falling asleep on the ground anymore.
Yeah.
Very fair. Shouts to Chris.
Shouts to Chris.
Chris, I hope we helped you and didn't just make up random people's names the whole time. So.
And also, Chris, cut out the Android or tell your friend to get an iPhone.
I don't even. Yeah, that was years ago. I don't know if they still do. Again, I've lost contact.
Will has a group chat on Viber. It's so embarrassing.
Is that where you
I don't even.
It sounds
know
like
what
a drug
is.
platform. That's where you buy pot and stuff.
No, it's like a group meet WhatsApp situation.
Viber, vibing, but
they had a friend who was abroad, but I'm like. Yeah, he also has an iPhone.
Friend was the wrong word, but
people abroad can have iPhones. It's called texting over Wi-Fi. Everyone should be able to do it.
Well, but at least use WhatsApp and not Viber.
Yeah, WhatsApp.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Tangent.
Let's go to the next one. Hey, Brett and everyone's favorite sister duo.
That's right.
Looking for some advice. I'm a 27-year-old single dude living in a decent-sized city. I go on a lot of dates, but can't seem to make women stick around. It always seems to be at most a couple hookups or a few weeks of casual dating. In your experience, what would it be that makes women see you as a short-term option rather than the long haul? I don't have any glaring flaws that I'm aware of. I think some might even call me a catch. Again, in quotes.
Self-proclaimed catch.
But I'm prepared to come to grips that there might be things I need to work on. Thanks in advance.
First of all, I wish we knew how he was meeting these people.
Okay.
Because that could, I feel like, give us some
Hinge
abs.
or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
My other comment was going to be, how quickly is this guy hooking up with these girls? Because I think that's a very big indicator of if you hook up with them immediately, they probably are just going to consider you a hook. If you got on an app and went on a date and hooked up right then, kind of setting the tone for it to be just like a hookup situation. Mm-hmm. Would you agree?
Or does that mean that you're into each other?
Well, it could mean that
than
too.
Yeah.
I just think for me, like if someone is trying to hook up right away, like immediately, I assume that they're doing that with other people. So I'm not like, oh, this is a super serious situation and he really likes me.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to say what are like the red but like why does a girl for this guy why does somebody go on a few dates and then they're just like, nah, I'm out? Like when does the what does
the
Love
old
Island say?
cringe factor.
When does the itch set in?
When does the ick set in?
Me and Sally and Emily have always said there's like a 2-week ick situation, 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
2 to 3 weeks of like not honeymoon phase, but 2 to 3 weeks.
2
of
to
like
3 weeks,
new,
you're like, oh, this is so
shiny
fun,
new-
and then you're like, just
Yeah.
all of a sudden, out of the blue, you're like, ugh, I
Yeah.
hate his eyebrows. I mean, I don't know, I don't know what it is, but
So I think
Look
there's
right
a
at me
couple
when you
different
said that.
things. I think one, like I said, at around 2, or like Lily said, around 2 to 3 weeks is when you start realizing, like, oh, are we gonna date? Like, am I ready to date this person? And it's one of those things that honestly, I think until it's just a timing thing. It's like, for me, it's never been like, oh, like this guy, has no flaws, so I'm gonna just date him. Like when Will and I started dating, it was like, you at 2 to 3 weeks you realize all their flaws, and then you just decide
are they important enough?
exactly you're gonna get over it. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't think that there's specific stuff that I like.
Unless he's like being really weirdo and like texting them nonstop and being clingy or something.
I would say like that's a big red flag to me. And if he didn't sound like he's doing this, but I mean, people rarely admit to that. But like, yeah, if you're like texting these people, if there's a lot more blue on your screen than there is white, like,
Take the hint.
Yeah.
But also don't be too cool and not communicate at all.
Oh, the game
Right.
game playing.
The
right?
game playing is like, so, I mean, I know everyone does
Adam
it. It's
goes,
actually
"Oh,
like,
shit."
it's also fun. Like when you start dating someone, the fun part is like going through the like,
Lily used to
What?
like if somebody texted her, however long it took them to text her back, she would double it and then wait.
oh, I was a great game player.
Oh my
I got really bad at it in college though, because I was just a loser. But
I think that's like my only probably red flag. To me, I have to say to this guy, like, unfortunately, as cliche as this is, when it works, it works.
yeah,
And
like
when it doesn't.
one
Like,
of these people isn't like sticking, then they probably just aren't great for you.
yeah, exactly. Like, as shitty as that is to hear, and maybe your own friends can like shed some light on the situation. Like, hey, you're like kind of a pussy, or like, like,
You're too
I like how you lead off
aggressive,
with
or
that, yeah.
whatever.
or like
it may
you
be.
chew with your mouth open, or like
Yeah,
like
if it's
glaring
like a
flaws.
specific flaw, yeah.
But honestly, I think that a lot of people go through this. When we read this question, I was about to make the joke like, "Is this Harry?" But Harry has a serious girlfriend. Like, but Harry had a string of time in Austin, where
Always
he was
going
just,
on
like,
dates.
always
Yeah.
going on dates. Kind of had the girl that he was talking to, and then like I'd be like, how's so and so? I'm like, that fizzled out a couple
Yeah.
of weeks
Yeah.
ago. And you're just like, oh, okay. I think that this is pretty normal for people in their late 20s, especially who are like looking for a serious relationship, because I think that's when you start getting the pressure to like have a serious relationship, start looking for a life partner, etc. So things that normally you would let go, you start thinking at the 2 to 3 week mark, like, do I want to marry somebody
Yeah,
who,
that
like,
does this.
who
Claps on planes.
yeah, no, but one thing I will call out that really worried me about Will, and
Oh, let's hear it.
this is so
This
trivial,
dirt.
but like,
I don't even know what effect that was. I
Okay.
just felt like I needed to do it.
when Will and I first started talking, and we were like talking on the phone for the first time, his voice was higher than I thought it was going to be, and he talked a lot faster. And I think it's because in Texas, I'm sure you've noticed, Brett, every Texas guy
What are you talking
talks
about?
at a snail's pace with a million pauses and
Your face right now.
like,
as
you
you're
know,
talking
like
that.
so slow. So hearing the difference between like the guys that I'd been dating versus Will, I was like, whoa, what's happening here?
Yeah,
and I
whoa.
remember telling my friend Katie, and she was like, that's just because he's from like Michigan. Like,
yeah, we talk fast up there. It's
yeah,
it's
she's like,
the
that's
northern kind
like,
of thing,
it's
yeah.
a northern thing. Like, you just gotta
Get over it.
Get over that. And I like literally got used to it like 2 minutes after Katie said that. But like at the beginning, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm okay with it. There's just
I
random
actually
shit like
remember
that.
FaceTiming him and being like, wow, his voice is higher than I expected. He has such a big beard. Why is his voice so high?
But no, like I'm not saying
Will,
it's
I like
a,
your voice for what it's worth.
I know. Now I like can't imagine Will with another voice.
Yeah.
I know, but like it's little things like that you all of a sudden are like, do I want to date somebody who like smokes a lot of pot? Maybe I'm not into it. Or do I want to date somebody who like doesn't have any like close guy friends and is only friends with girls? Do I want to date somebody who has 4 sisters and they're all terrifying and like do I want to deal with
Shouts
that?
to
And his
Harry's
mom
girlfriend.
calls me all the time. So like I think that hits and you just when it's right, you're like you push through it because you like them so much.
I also would like to know if this guy, like, he said they don't last that long. Like, does he really like these people too? Or is he just like trying to get in a relationship because he feels pressure to get in a relationship? You know, like,
Right.
you can just have fun and like date people and let the right one, it won't stop. You'll just continue on.
But I think there is a certain amount of pressure when the rest of your friends are in serious relationships and you're the one who's dating around and people are bringing their significant others to lake houses and like you're going to people's weddings and you realize like I don't have a long-term girlfriend. Like what's wrong with me?
Yeah.
I think that hits a lot at like 27, 28 is when I really felt it. I mean,
Well,
I was
you were
dating
dating
Will,
Will.
but like I feel like that's when a lot of my friends felt it.
Oh, yeah.
I think it happens a little bit earlier in Texas than it does other places, or at least in the South. But I don't think that like if I look back and I'm thinking about my guy friends now, I was never like, oh, like so and so is such a catch, and like this guy's just like good for like a fun time. Wink.
Yeah.
Like those like movies that's like, oh, he's the guy. I feel like there was like a Dane Cook movie where he was like the guy like everyone dated before they got married. Like,
Good luck, Chuck.
Yeah, Good Luck, Chuck.
That's what it is.
Great movie.
Like that
Great movie.
that doesn't exist because I think that everyone is going through this. So there's nobody that like you do have the friends who are just perpetually single who are like they need to find somebody, but then they find somebody and they're not the single person. That was me for years. Like
Yeah.
I just think maybe ask your like a close friend or a sibling or somebody who will be honest with you, like, is there anything I do that's like annoying or whatever?
Or a close friend's girlfriend.
Yeah.
I would say. Because like a close friend, like,
I'd be like, no, bro,
he's
you're
not
the
gonna
best,
know.
dude.
Yeah,
Like,
you're cool. I love you.
I
man.
don't
Yeah,
think
man.
that there's anything that I would think like qualifies the guy as like short term versus a long term guy.
Me either. I mean, for every person, it's going to be different. Like, we long term probably wouldn't date someone that's like a druggie, you know, but some might. So
That's what I'm looking for.
I was-
Short term guy.
I was going to say,
No,
like,
I'm
real
just
short
saying,
term.
but like, that's because we aren't like that. But some people might party, and that might be their prerogative. So, like, I don't think that you can't like ask someone like, what flaw do I have? Because for some woman, that might not be a flaw.
I agree. I think there's a couple things that I kind of thought about during this question where the 2 to 3 week phase is that's like so real. It's like the shiny toy effect, right?
Right.
It wears off at 2 or 3 weeks. You start to learn more about somebody, whether it's like you get deeper, right? You know about whether it's like beliefs or values or this and that. And the other part was maturity, because I think a short-term immature person can be kind of like fun or exciting, or they're like, whoa, this is new energy for me. But again, around that 2 to 3 week mark, you're like, I'm kind of tired of this immaturity.
Yeah, right.
I'm not going to be in it for the long term. This person I don't see myself being with this person forever. And so that's why. So maybe it's a maturity thing.
Yeah.
Where it is fun for a couple weekends.
Right.
And you're down to play the games. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
shit, I haven't done this before. And like, maybe they're like the hot, crazy scale, you know?
And,
it's
Yeah.
just like,
and then
I'm
they're
down
thinking to themselves, like, how long can I actually do this?
Well, like maturity, I think is an umbrella that covers like jealousy issues, clinginess,
Yes.
insecurities.
insecurity.
All of those things start to peak right around 2 to 3 weeks, and all of that is maturity based. So, like, if all of a sudden you're not clingy, but you're like, why are you talking to that guy? Like, those are all. So that's something that probably someone's not going to tell you unless you get into a long-term relationship, and then they're like,
You're immature.
yeah. But I mean, it's worth looking at like a little self-reflection of like, do I do specific things that like obviously he's asking us to tell him.
I think one specific thing he could do is if he does go on a few dates with someone, then do the next, like, third or fourth date or whatever, like not out, like at your house or at
Ooh,
their
the
house
old
or
wine
something.
night.
Yeah, the old like see them in a setting that's not like you're both getting dressed up and going in public and socializing with strangers, but more like you get to see each other at a more like home setting.
Yeah.
So then you would know like, oh, okay, I feel like I could hang out with this person at home. I used to make fun of Emily because she had a boyfriend at one point that like they literally never hung out. We lived together and they never hung out at our house. And like they were always going to events and like dinners and stuff. And I was like, has he ever even like, is he capable of sitting down and watching TV? Because that's like, I would need someone that I can like watch a movie with or watch sports with at home and not have to like worry about being dressed up constantly all the time. And obviously they did not last very long, but I just thought it was so bizarre. I was like, why haven't y'all ever hung out at our house? Like you live here. Why haven't y'all like hung out here?
Absolutely.
So I think maybe throwing that into the mix just to see like you can gauge the cringe factor pretty early if you kind of know how they are just like not out in public.
Yeah.
One of my friends on her podcast says if you go over to the guy's house and he has navy sheets, his bed's in the corner, or he has one pillow, that's like the red.
Those are red flags.
The 3 red flags.
Navy sheets. Interesting. Also black sheets are creepy.
But navy, because they just hide stains. It's like, ugh.
One
Navy
pillow
sheets,
and
beds
one-
in the corner.
Why
or one
bed in the
pillow.
corner? What if their room doesn't allow for a better
That's
bed
the point. Like
situation?
in New York, a lot of the time you don't
Bed in
have
the
much
corner,
of a
no
choice.
Yeah.
headboard, no effort.
No headboard is another one.
This is
Yeah.
a total side tangent. We can
Hit
move on
us.
from this
No,
question,
hit
but I
us.
knew a guy in college who.
Say his name. We're calling people out of this.
Yeah,
podcast.
we are.
No, I can't. Stapled his fitted sheet to his bed because he was sick of it sliding around. I was like, "How are you going to wash your sheets?" He's like, "Wash your sheets." I was like,
Stapled it.
Oh, I need you to tell me who this was. Are they grown up now? Are they married?
Oh,
Yes, they're
my
married now.
God.
Wonder if they still staple that bad boy down.
That's
There's
absurd.
a lot of ruffling in the sheets. They just got it stapled.
like,
That's
Honey, have you seen the
disgusting.
staple remover? It's gotta wash the sheet.
Gotta wash the sheets.
no,
It's
but
been
he like
6 months.
didn't wash his sheets. That was the point. Like he stapled.
What color
it to the
were
bed.
they?
I don't know. He
Navy.
just
That's
told me
so
that he did
sick.
that.
Navy sheets. Disgusting.
It's like the first pair of sheets that you have. It's like, is it pair of sheets?
Parachute.
Parachute.
No,
No,
pair of
pair of-
sheets.
pair
Oh,
of
I thought you
sheets.
were talking about a sheet company.
I don't know why
Set
it's
of sheets.
Set of sheets, yeah. That's like the first set of sheets you get in or after college. It's like the cool navy blue ones. You're like, oh, those are sick.
Oh,
Thanks,
yeah,
Mom.
sick.
Guys, wash your sheets.
I'm gonna call this guy Joe. I don't know why, but Joe, good luck out there. If we just solved it at the very end of that question with the navy
He's
sheets,
like,
just get yourself some new sheets, man,
Yeah.
and you'll be good to go.
White sheets, bleach them every week. It's totally fine.
Boom, white cream. Get
Yeah.
at least 4 pillows on your bed.
He was saying white or cream.
Yeah, color.
But he said white cream, and then I was like, ew, okay, I get it. We're on the
All
navy
right.
sheet stuff.
Don't get satin ones.
Next question.
Sick.
Satin. Why no satin sheets?
Have you
Never
ever
mind,
had
never
satin
mind.
sheets
I don't wanna
before?
ask.
They literally like spark because of
Oh.
the static.
They're not great.
That's
You
fine.
gotta go.
You
gotta
slide
go
right
cotton.
off the bed. You just vroom.
I would make a joke.
They
though,
also
if we,
in
like,
Texas, they're supposed to keep you cool. They're hotter.
Yeah.
I feel
Huh.
like.
My friend Lauren and I got some satin sheets in high school, being like, we're gonna be really
Yeah, they're
luxurious.
fucking awesome.
No, literally
They
they
were
spark.
horrible.
They like cause sparking because
Because of
if
the
you
friction.
because of like the
I'd
static
be
friction.
like, oh, look, do we have a spark?
Oh,
yeah, but
Oh,
then
there's
literally you
Brett's
would just
joke.
like all of your bedding would just slide off like
Ooh.
because it was too slippery.
Yeah,
so
the
you'd wake
pillows
up
would
and like
slide
all
off.
your shit's like you're just on your fitted sheet with like nothing over you because all of your comforter and stuff would slide off.
There's
Yeah.
somebody out there with satin sheets who's like, yes, finally somebody gets me. Like,
Well, satin
screaming
sheets,
at the
like
crowd,
satin
yes.
pillowcases are a thing because they help you from like having a bed head, but you don't need your whole bed to be satin.
And
It's
they're
just-
better for your skin, apparently.
You learn something new every day.
There you go.
Satin sheets.
That's a girl thing. I
Let's
think.
do the next one. Another dating-esque question. Hey, guys. I moved across the country during COVID and started hanging out with a new group of friends. I'm starting to develop feelings for one of the guys in the group and not sure how to proceed. I felt like he may have been into me, but I'm not sure, and I think I may have been friend-zoned. I also think that maybe he knows I like him, but I'm also not positive on that either. A lot of uncertainty.
Uncertainty
Yeah.
here.
I need some help on figuring out what my next step should be. How do I figure out if I'm friend-zoned or if he has any interest in me? More background, he actively goes on dates and I know he isn't in anything serious right now. We also text and DM separately from the group, and occasionally we'll help each other out with those house maintenance or animal/plant sitting. Thanks.
Plant sitting.
She plant sits for him.
What is plant sitting? Is it
Sounds
watering?
Sounds
like
like
a
they're-
classic unrequited love situation.
Ooh.
This guy definitely knows she's in love with him, and he's using that to his advantage to make
Ooh.
her
Plant sit.
plant sit for him.
Hate to be the bearer.
I
of
mean,
bad
I,
news.
I would love to ask this girl, has he ever done anything for you? Or are you the one picking him up from the airport and like watching his pet?
Watching his dog.
No, she's
watching
watching
his
his,
basil.
succulent, apparently. Not even his pet.
I will say we are having a dog sitter / plant sitter when we go to Michigan because Will's really concerned about the ferns we have hanging on the balcony.
Well, I
so-
guess I would just call that a house sitter.
House
I've
sitter.
never heard of it as a plant sitter.
I think
That seems
yeah.
so
Okay, we don't need
ridiculous.
to focus on that. This girl, I like.
I'll water your ferns while you're out of town.
Thanks. I just have to say, I think he does know, and I think
It's very seldom that the guy doesn't know, I feel like unless he's just a total idiot.
She
and
got
he's like,
friend zoned.
There's morons out there.
And,
Yeah,
and the
I've been
reason that I'm saying that is because I have been this girl so many times. Like,
Yeah, it's not great.
I've been friend zoned, or been like they know that I like them, so like they'll like make out with me drunkenly one time and then just keep me on the hook for like months on end.
Class. Well, that was going to be my
Oh.
other advice. Was like if you're cool to not be awkward afterward,
Yeah.
you could always just try to make out at a bar like Drew and I did and see what happens, and maybe it'll spark something. But then if it doesn't, you have to be prepared to either one, be super awkward with all those friends,
Mm-hmm.
or two, like laugh it off like, LOL, me and John made out at the bar that one time and it's fine.
Girl, you got to keep your leggings high and your expectations low because I don't think this guy wants anything to do with you. I just,
What if he does though?
Oh.
If you're out there, John, listening to this podcast, you might have a friend that likes you. So go for it.
I know. I just think
I'm always a make a move.
I
guy.
also think
Like-
what me and Sally said earlier. At this point, depending on, I don't know how old she is, but you could always just tell him and prepare for like uber rejection and potentially an end of the friendship. But if it's like so, I guess what's the word, weighing on you so much that like you can't be around him because you like him so much and he doesn't like you, then your friendship might end anyways. So
right.
you may just put yourself out there and
I just feel like I've witnessed this situation. I've been part of this situation. It's so often that like especially if it's obviously like a guy girlfriend group, and
which they clearly are.
right, but like where two people are like attracted to each other enough to like drunkenly make out and like continue that, but not attracted to each other enough or like each other enough to like
date.
to date.
It
And
probably
it's-
would have happened.
Right.
by
and
this
so
point.
I literally have watched, I remember when I lived in Houston, like my friend group, multiple people did this with each other where you're just like, oh, so-and-so and so-and-so are hooking up again.
Did
but,
they
like,
ever date?
No.
None of them
And
ever
then,
dated.
It's real
one
world.
person gets a boyfriend and then you're just like, okay, well, clearly they're not into it. Like,
yeah.
normally I'm of the thought process of like, you should just tell them. But I also think like, you really have to weigh, is that gonna ruin like,
The friend
Right, it's her
vibe.
new. She just moved
Your new
across the
friend
country. She's got new friends.
Right.
She's like, oh, this is going well.
right. and
Because
you
that
don't-
one for the guy, who cares? Y'all probably eventually aren't going to be friends anyways.
Right.
But if it's going to mess up the whole vibe of the whole group, then you might want to just wait.
I just think if this guy was into her, he wouldn't be going out on dates. Maybe that's a short scope. I guess maybe if this is like a real rom-com situation and he's really into her and she's really into
They're
him,
both
but
too
he,
scared to tell each
he
other.
doesn't know that she's into him, so he's trying to get over it and go on dates. But I just don't see that happening.
I'm picturing she professes her love for him, and he's like, no, I'm all set. But then they like roll over, and then he's like, can you still watch my plant?
Oh, he's
Can
literally
you
please
making
water my fern?
the rom-com out of it. And then 6 months later, she has a boyfriend and he comes around and
Yes.
he likes her. And she's like, oh, now I have a boyfriend.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's classic.
Yep.
classic situation. I don't know. I just
Go to a bar,
I
get a little
will
drunk,
say,
spill your guts, and
Either
make
spill
out.
your guts and make out, or straight up stop offering to do things for him and see where that goes.
Yeah.
Like if you are just
Girl,
like,
you gotta have some self-respect.
yeah, if
And
you're
that's coming
plant
from
sitting for
someone
him
who
every
has
Saturday,
real low self-esteem when I was 20s. Okay,
Yeah.
like I was the queen of like, literally. I remember a guy liking me asking me if I would take him to the airport, like, and I like agreed to it. And
of
then,
course you did.
yeah, I was like, oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
take
he
you
wouldn't
there.
ask someone he didn't like.
Yeah, no, no.
Yeah, he would.
He would
doesn't
ask.
want to pay
He
the
would ask
Uber.
the girl who's simping for him. He knows it clearly. He's like, yeah, I'll ask Sally. Like,
She'll
free
do it.
Uber.
She's in love with me.
Yeah,
Free Uber.
yeah, literally. Like I
And then
just
you're like,
wish.
"Bye, would you like to say anything else to me
Yeah.
before I go to Tampa?" Like,
Like, yeah. No,
Well-
I honestly think like I wish if I could go back on my 20s.
Oh, me too.
I would be like, God, have some self-respect, Sally. Like, you're a catch, and you may be 20 pounds overweight, but like honestly, it's not worth just being an Uber driver for this dude, Chad. Like, I did never date a guy named Chad. I was just making
That's
fun.
fine.
I know. I am thinking back though. Drew and I were in the same friend group at work, and he did try to put a lot of moves on me, and I just wasn't having it because we worked together, so I didn't think it could happen. And then, like as soon as he was flirting with a girl at a bar, I pushed him up against the wall and made out with him. So like maybe you try that method. Flirt with another guy in front of him, and if he doesn't do anything, then he doesn't like you. Like that, I think that's pretty
Ooh.
obvious. Like
The
if
old-
you're in a group setting, you're all out together, and you're flirting with some guy, and he doesn't
What if
like.
he's just really shy and he?
yeah. What if that
No,
crushes
I mean
him?
you'd be able to tell. Even if he's shy, he'd be a little bit like, you know,
The immature,
jealous or
25-year-old version of me would say, "Get hammered, profess your love for him, see what happens, and then if he turns you down, pretend that you don't remember doing it."
something. Classic.
Yeah.
Classic.
The
Just
classic,
Oh,
you
I
know.
was so drunk. I don't know what I was saying.
But here's the deal: don't do that. It's not going to lead to anything good. Like you're, I
me and Brett are hopeful. We're hopeful for the
just
for the
think
kids
like,
out there.
like I just wish I could go back so many times in my 20s and be like, either just tell the truth and be prepared to face the repercussions, or get over it.
Yeah, it's shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
Or last
If you're gonna
thing,
do it this weekend.
Do you want him to be your friend forever? If so, then don't do anything. If you don't care about losing his friendship, because you probably will lose it eventually anyways. If you like,
The thing
you don't
is,
like
though,
each
when
other,
you
then
like
just
somebody like
profess
that,
it.
you think that you want them to be your friend forever because you want them in your life because you like them. You don't realize like you don't really need them.
Yeah, you're like, I can't imagine my life without you, even as a friend. And then you're like, I
Because
literally
he
don't
watches
care
my
about that
burns.
person. Good luck,
Oh,
Stacy. I love making up names to people. Don't you
so
feel like
fun.
that was a
It's so
Stacy?
fun. No,
No,
Nice.
she's cooler than a Stacey.
that was like a Jenna or something. What?
I don't know.
Tell you
All right.
after the pod.
Okay. Next one. What up, Brett and this week's co-hosts? Okay, you guys. My girlfriend recently went on a girls' trip where the group went to a club and got invited to a table with a group of men they did not know. Dun, dun, dun. This isn't the first time this has happened, and it's always seemingly a fun and innocent night out, but always makes me curious if this is normal for the ladies. What is your take on significant others getting drinks/tables bought for them and having a night out with strangers? Are there any rules of engagement for this type of thing? For context, we've been together for 5 years, but both of us have had a lot of single friends, so these things happen. Not trying to make this into an argument for us, but curious as to what your thoughts are.
This isn't normal. She's cheating on you. I'm just kidding.
No,
No, this is
absolutely
so
normal.
normal. The most
Sally, I
normal.
was looking at her because, like, every time me and Sally have been on a trip,
Yeah.
especially in Vegas,
Yeah.
I mean, we are like absolutely acting insane trying to get invited. And actually, as we've gotten older, we aren't getting invited, so it's jokes on us. But
Lily's bachelorette, I just felt like a lost puppy. I was like, can we just buy our own table at this point? Like, I just
we
this is
Like, looking
depressing.
around, like-
spoiler alert, we did buy our own table. We all were like, okay, everyone fan out and go try to get free drinks. And like, no one was having it.
God, it's so
we really,
depressing.
We really lost it. So then we all like collectively came together and we were like,
Let's
okay,
just
Anybody
do
like
it.
anybody
Let's
anybody
buy
do
it.
any work? Like anybody get anything? It's like,
anyone
no.
got
Anybody got a bite? Anybody got a bite?
No, this is so normal, especially for girls. I think I don't know how it is for guys, but like, I think.
I mean, I
Strippers-
think
but I
strippers
think,
are doing-
well, but I also think on the flip side, it's very normal for if you're on a guy's trip and y'all get a bottle or something somewhere to
you're
Yeah.
invite
gonna have
girls.
the girl
Absolutely.
and there's gonna be girls just like us flocking over, seeing they got a bottle and being like, "Oh, where are y'all from?"
Right.
You know, yeah, duh.
And
Like,
also, there's a
It's network.
high
Or the
likelihood
alcohol.
that they're using this guy's girlfriend as like the icebreaker wing woman
Mm-hmm.
because normally we would make the girl who had a boyfriend like go over and like be the one to like flirt, because you know that like there's no stakes in it for her. She doesn't care if she gets turned down. She has a boyfriend. So
you don't want to put the single one on blast and be like, you go get us the table because you're the single one. No.
Right. So I think this is super normal. I'm thinking back to like when we've been in Vegas, or even one time when we took a girls trip to Cabo and we went to like Squid Row with some
also
guys.
So depressing, just turned down constantly.
Yeah.
Like they like know you're married or something.
Yeah.
It's like they're like, don't talk to her.
I will say, I think besides this being so normal, I really think there's rarely like the girls, at least that I knew, like when we were like if I was in a relationship or I was the single one, my friends were in relationships, like they're talking to guys, but most of the time there's a pretty good mix of like not everyone there is single, like
100%.
So usually you end up like talking to the harmless guy, you know, like those people pair off and like talk or like help their friends out. Like
They
this
push
is just
people
a
in the right direction.
normal social situation, nothing to get upset about.
The only rule of engagement I would say that would be like a red flag for me is in those situations, like you said, there's always some single people and always some not. If the single people are all staying around, like, you know, till 3 a.m. and all of the like taken people go home, it might be a little odd if like you're the one taken person who's like staying till 4 a.m.
At the,
for no reason.
the other
You know,
side of
like,
the island, right?
Yeah, like it's like, okay, everyone went home. The only people left at this point are like single and going home together. So maybe like don't be fifth wheeling around when you're in a relationship.
It sounds like he trusts her. I think he's just asking if this is normal. Every single girl that I've been friends with, like in this situation, is normally just like, oh, these dudes we got bottles with. I've never ever heard of a girl being like, I met him
at
getting
bottle service in
Bottle
Vegas.
service in Vegas.
I will
I
say,
really just went up to him for the free beer and we ended up in love.
yeah, I wanted a free cran vodka that was worse than drinking sewage water.
And it was $26.
Yeah.
And then we fell in
At
love.
Tryst in Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm like specifically remembering.
I will say this. I've said that with the caveat of there was one group of girls that I was friends with, a girl that at work, and she had been in Vegas, and every single person on the bachelorette party, including the bachelorette, like had one night stands, like a whole thing. Like I was like, wow.
Okay, well, were those
everybody?
people from like New Jersey? I mean,
Ooh.
Whoa, calling out New Jersey.
like they party, you know,
But
harder
like
than us.
I for the most part, like getting bottles, especially when you're like girls and guys. I think there's both sides of this coin. It's like you have to be invited to look cool, and also guys have to invite girls to look cool. And then a lot of times they're like, I don't even care about these people. We just are like in a collective like social experiment together.
Yeah, what guy wants to go? There rarely are guys like, save all the drinks for us. Like, don't invite girls over. You know, like anywhere you go, guys gonna be like, we want to talk to some females. We don't want to just be
even
in a
if
group
they're
of
like
10
not
dudes.
cool girls, they're like bring over the same situation. Even if they're not cool guys,
I
like,
actually remember being in Vegas and we did like go over to a guy's table and it was like all dudes were like, surely they would like want to like talk to us. And they literally were broing so hard that all of us were like, what losers? Like y'all don't want to talk to some chicks? Y'all just want to throw each other out?
That's just like part of being out. Like I think
It's
just
middle school dance stuff.
just
Yeah.
like learning, like interacting with people of the opposite sex. Like even if you have no intention of making out with any of these people, like you're just there.
And also, yeah, we're too old. I mean, again, Sally and I get turned down now, but we're too old to like expect that going to tables means you like someone's gonna make out with the other person. Like you can just both be hanging out.
As a girl, I will say that it's almost like a competition when you're out with your girlfriends, like who's going to get invited to a table and like which table situation's better. Like, I remember being in Vegas and like someone's like, oh, I got this table, and it's like some shitty like side table, and then you're like, oh, I got invited to the main table.
It's on the dance floor with a go-go dancer in the
They're
middle.
getting fireworks.
So come on, come all.
But like, also, I've been part of a situation where you're that, and there's like 40 other girls
no,
around.
or
You're like, how do you know that? And they're like, I don't know. The bouncer brought me over. You're like,
Or
cool,
you're
cool,
one
cool.
of you're the girl that found the table on the side, and you're like feel so bad
You're like,
for John,
oh.
and you're like, John, I'll stay over here.
To be fair, I was normally the girl who found the like banquet table on the side. I'm like, Vikram wants us to come join his friends.
We have the chicken tenders over here.
And people are like, get away from me. We're going over here where the cotton candy's on fire. Okay. Like,
This is so depressing. All I can think about now is that I don't get invited to those
no,
tables
Lily's
anymore.
Bachelorette. I was like, This is the worst.
We were so embarrassed. We literally came together, and Emily and Sally were like, "We'll pay for it. Just get a table. This is embarrassing. We are in our 30s,
Too old for
and
this
no
shit.
one
I
wants
want to sit down.
We're just trying to talk to people, not for a free drink, to sit down.
Yeah. No, that was what I wanted a table for at Lily's. I was like, I don't give a shit about.
No, ours was a place to put our flip flops and our purses. We're like, we don't even care about the free drinks or like socializing. Just we want to put our purse down in a spot that's ours.
The best part about being old and having a job, like a set job, is I can be like, guess what? I'm buying the bottle.
Yeah. Everyone, come talk to me.
Yeah.
Oh my God. From the boy's point of view, the man's point of view here, I'm like, if my girlfriend goes, I'm like gassing her up.
Yeah.
She's like texting me. She's
yeah.
like,
You got this,
I got the
honey.
main table. I'm like, you got this. You got this. No side tables for you. Main table.
Don't
Yeah.
go to
You need
Vikram's table.
You need the invite.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with Vikram.
That,
but
Will felt so bad for me at Lily's Bachelorette. I was like, I was just walking
I think they
around.
all
my feet
felt
hurt.
bad for us because it was my bachelorette and we couldn't even get invited anywhere. I'm like, wow, this is embarrassing.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
No, it's a total ego boost. That's the whole
Yeah.
thing. But it's never further.
I
than
can
it's like
just
an
hear
ego
you
boost for the
gassing
guy,
her up,
too.
texting
Yeah.
her like,
Let's go.
you get at that table yet? Don't spend our money on
No.
drinks. You better
No,
get some
you-
free drinks.
Yeah.
I want your credit card bill better be clean.
Clean.
Yeah.
I want that thing spotless when you
Yeah.
get back.
Yeah.
Oh,
Love it.
man.
Man, I want to go to Vegas.
I know.
Except
Should
for
we?
I don't. 'cause
Dust off
I
the
do
old,
not want to go
dust
to a
off
club.
the old mini skirt. Try to get some table invites.
I don't even have an outfit that I could wear
If,
in Vegas. That
if
like,
the Vegas Golden Knights win the hockey series that they're in currently, we're thinking about going to the Stanley Cup.
Well,
I mean,
you gotta invite.
the last time I
one
was
of
in
the young
Vegas, I was
sisters,
like
'cause
8
Jewel's
months
own
pregnant.
Vegas.
So I would be down to go, but like I cannot go to a club anymore. I will go hit up an STK dinner all
Oh,
the that day.
absolutely. It turns into a club. But here's what the last thing I'll say. One, you know you're old when you are outside of a club in Vegas and the bouncers aren't even like, hey, we're going to take you to a table. They're just like letting you stand in line with all the peasants.
plebes.
Yeah. You stand in line with True Religion jeans over there and good luck getting in. Like we're
man.
not going to escort you past the line to the center table. That's when you know you've lost it.
You've lost the.
You probably
you
don't
do
go
not
to
still
Vegas.
got it.
You don't got it.
Oh man! Last question here. Very, very the opposite of Vegas. Hey, Lil Betch and Sal Gal,
Love it.
if you're comfortable sharing, how did you approach the planning phase of starting a family? I don't know why I laughed. It's just
I don't.
like it's
Yeah.
just
What
like,
was the giggle?
It's just like we're going from like
I got
Vegas pool
bottle
parties.
service.
To,
Yeah, you're plotting how to
you
get
plan a-
invited to the
yeah.
table. To
I'm-
family planning.
I'm still young, but I'm starting to feel a time crunch already to get the wheels in motion for my ideal life family-wise. How did you get into family planning? Did you know you were ready? Again, no pressure to give specific answers, as I know this is very personal, but you're both absolutely crushing it as moms, looking amazing with the world's cutest babies. So any input you're willing to give, I would very much appreciate.
Oh, I love this girl. Thank you very much about the cutest babies comment because babies are pretty
They're
cute.
very cute.
Okay, I'm gonna give a little PSA real fast to the women who listen to Mail In.
Okay.
If you are 32, a fertility doctor told me this one time. If you're 32, you need to have a plan. It can be whatever plan you want it to be, but you need to have decided, do I want to have my own children? Am I cool adopting? Do I never want to have kids? Know what you're going to do at 32. If you're married, start trying, or whatever. If you're not married, possibly freeze your eggs. Make a plan. Because unfortunately for women, our fertility takes a massive hit around 30 and an even bigger one at 35. And I'm sorry, I'm
Medical
getting
Sally coming
really
in
medical
hot.
right now. But
I'm like checking. I'm like, I just
Yeah.
turned 27. Like,
no, but I do think
Guys, it doesn't matter.
it as we get older, and especially as it becomes way more normal for women to get married older, have kids older, they don't prepare you for this when you're 14 and you're like the most fertile you've ever been. And I
and then you look crazy for like kind of wanting to have a plan.
Right. I think my friends, especially, and I talked about this when Will and I talked about me being pregnant. I had no idea the amount of like emotional, physical toll it was going to take on some of my friends to try to get pregnant, and never thought that thankfully for Lily and I, it happened really easily and is such a blessing. That's not always the case. And as a woman in 2021, you have got to like control your own destiny. So
Yeah.
I remember my dad telling us that like when we were 22 and being like, okay, so do you want me to like go bone a dude right now? Like, I don't think
Yeah,
that's
being
what
like,
you want.
Dad, what are you talking about? Like, I'm
Right.
21 in college. Why are you asking
But like,
about kids?
I do think having a plan is important. If you're over 32, you still have time. The earlier you do it, the better. But there's a whole lot of research. The younger that your eggs are, the better that they are. So don't wait until you're 38. That's all I'm going to say. Also, take CoQ10, 500 milligrams a day.
Oh,
Increases
did
the
not know
quality
this.
of your eggs. Just FYI.
Quality of your eggs.
Yeah, let me make sure that's the dosage
It-
before I just.
It is
tee up.
CoQ10. I know that's the thing, but I
Coenzyme Q10, yeah.
Didn't know that.
On a non-medical, I think Sally's right, but I think girls are like so scared to like have a family plan or like talk about it with either someone especially someone they're dating. I think if you're married at that point, you've probably already talked about it. So
Right.
you're on the same page or close. But I think you like get
Sorry,
looked at-
200 milligrams a day, not 500. Don't.
really amped up the eggs. But I think it used to be like you looked crazy if you were like, well, I want kids and I want this and like you had that all planned before. But if you want kids and maybe the person you're dating doesn't, then better to find out sooner than later so you can dump him if he doesn't want kids. But I think to like be kind of on the same page and then like Sally said, make a plan. If you don't want kids till later or you don't want them at all and you discuss that, then that's fine. But then at least still having a plan like, okay, well, I don't want kids till I'm 40, but I might get to 40 and not be able to have kids. So I need to plan that in advance and understand like what my body looks like. There's like tests that my mom was going to buy all of us these tests that you can just see what your eggs look like and stuff. And you can be
Right.
beforehand just so you know your own body. But then I think, did she say she was dating or married?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I
no.
think people are scared to bring it up when they're dating someone because you don't want to look like a crazy person. But you also want to know if you're dating someone regardless. Like if you want kids and they don't, then that's going to be another issue, right? So I think you
Yeah.
can like plan it as soon as you want. And maybe don't like the first date be like, okay, so I want 7
first
kids.
date.
Let's do it tonight. But being very vocal about like, oh, I want 2 kids or I want this.
See, I think even now, I have a better grasp having one child, like how many kids I want. But even before we had Fritz, I was kind of like, I know I want kids, but I don't
I
know
want,
how many.
a couple or 2
right.
to 3.
Like I knew that I wanted to be done by, like I kind of want to be done having kids at 35. Like I think that you can have some parameters on it, but you don't have to have a set plan. Your plan will always change. I think a good thing, especially if you're going into dating somebody or you're dating somebody now, is to at least be on the same page of do you want them or do you not
Yeah. I mean, I know
in the
people
future.
that.
And it doesn't have to be do you want them now or whenever, like at least that they're open to it. If you are. And vice versa. If you don't want them at all, that's fine. But like, make sure you're not dating somebody who really wants kids. That's number one. Number two, I remember like Will and I were very much on the same page of like, we want kids, but we're not ready for that. And that was fine. And then all of a sudden we just were like, I think part of it was COVID and part of it was our friends having kids. There was
Yeah.
no like big, huge moment where we're like, okay, we're going to start trying. It was like, okay, like if we had a kid right now, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Like,
Yeah.
let's do it.
I think, well, I was going to say for Drew, he like wasn't as ready, I don't think, as I was. But he was also like, I'm not going to be ready until it happens. So we're just going to let it happen.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I think that happens
Yeah.
a lot with guys is like, they don't think they're ready. But then Drew has been great. Like, it wasn't like he was like, I'm not ready and we got pregnant. It was just like, he straight up was like, I don't know when I'm going to be ready. I don't think I'm literally going to until it happens.
Right.
So that's where I'm at. And whenever you're ready, let's go for it kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I think his I guess age difference between him and Bane is the same as his dad and his.
Oh, that's
and
very
he loves
cool.
their
Okay.
difference. So when we started like talking about, okay, maybe we'll, not try not to have kids.
I like that. Not try not to.
You know,
Yeah.
not like go crazy,
Not
but
putting the
not
goalie in.
Yeah. And then he was like, okay, well, I love this age difference between me and my dad, so that would be like an awesome age to be with my son,
Yeah.
even though I might not feel like I'm totally ready. But starting to look at it like that, like, okay, yeah, you might be having all this fun right now, but are you going to look back and be like, well, I wish I was a little younger so I could do this with my kids, or I wish I was a little older so I had a little more maturity or money to spend on my kids, or whatever it may be. So
Yeah.
But that's the adage, right, or adage where it's like you can never afford them, you're never ready for them, and then you just have them anyway.
Right.
Like, that's
I do
just
remember
kinda
people
how-
asking like, "Are you ready? Are you ready?" And I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, sure, I'm ready, but like, I truly am never going to be ready until it's
Yeah.
just here and I'm doing it. You know,
And as ready as you are, you're
not ready. Yeah. So
But yeah, if you're a woman, the clock is ticking, unfortunately. And I hate to say that because I think that's really shitty. But
it's the truth. I mean,
it's the truth, and there is a lot of resources available to you, me included. If you ever want to DM me, I will answer whatever questions that I can or direct you to the right resources. But
shout out to
unfortunately,
Jules.
it's
Jules also works. at
it's
a
our
fertility
it's
home.
our burden to bear. Men can do whatever they want, and like instead of like outside of like getting kicked in the crotch too many times, like continue to have kids well into their 80s. So like it is something to think about, and I don't think anybody is going to fault you for that.
Yeah, I think people used to be like, "You're crazy. You're talking about kids already." But unfortunately, the truth is, it's like, okay, well, you have to. And if someone's gonna get scared off because you know that you want kids, then you
Yeah.
probably don't want to hang
You
out
don't
with
want to be
them.
there with them anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly. I want 5 kids someday. That's my plan.
You want
I
5?
want 5.
Well, Sally and I are 1 of 5.
Brett,
so.
you should probably start soon. Just so
I know,
FYI.
I know.
It's like a lot, unless you're planning on doing what my mom did and having 5 and 6 years. So
Just pumping them.
Well, again, it's not Brett that it matters.
No, it's not. I think five's a little. I think I'd net out somewhere in the 3 range. Again, that's my plan, which
Yeah.
is not going to be my
Yeah.
plan.
See,
in 5
Brett has a
years, but-
plan. Guys have plans too.
Yeah.
They have things that they want.
I mean, you can always adopt too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Are we ready for my bonus question?
Yes, that
Is
was
this your
the
shower
mail-in. This is
My
the
shower
shower thought / bonus question. Lily, what do you got?
Would you rather have a personal chef or a personal maid?
Ooh.
At your disposal all the time. They can live in with you. They don't have to, but just on the payroll, personal chef, personal maid.
Personal chef.
Personal maid. For sure.
I think I'm going chef. But I can see why you would go maid.
I would go maid because the thing I hate most in the world is
I mean, it's great to have a clean house
like
24/7.
cleaning up stuff.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. I love cooking. I hate cleaning.
See, I think
Maid
Will
would
and
be
I
nice
like
with a child
to
too.
like tidy, clean, like deep cleaning is not as much, but tidying is fine. But I think about all the time. I'm like, yeah, I would be really skinny and hot if I had a personal chef just like making me bomb meals that were healthy the whole time, like Kim Kardashian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Oh, this is actually tougher than I thought, though. I'm just thinking of my house is like when it's a mess, I'm like so annoyed
Yeah.
and just constantly like bickering with Drew about like putting his stuff away. And I'm like, if we had a maid that like was always there, she'd know where everything goes and everything would always be clean.
So what did you choose?
But I love
She's
food,
torn.
man. I do love food. And like a personal chef, nothing beats being like, I want a milkshake and then making you a milkshake. I mean, like
Yeah.
you literally don't have to do anything.
On that same note, I think the personal chef move on a bachelor or bachelorette or like vacation is one of the most
Shower thoughts, great shot. Great
Yeah.
shower thought.
like if you're thinking about going to like Airbnb wherever, think about a personal
One
chef.
of the nights.
My
yeah.
favorite
Oh, yeah.
night every time on a bachelorette
yeah.
party is when we do a personal chef.
No one wants to go out. Jessica's not going to pay it anyways. So just do the personal chef and charge her in advance and get, and it's always so
Absolutely.
fun because everyone's, having a good time. You don't have to like all be ready to go at a certain time. You just get to like hang out. I just went, some guys and girls that we know from Scottsdale came in and they had a personal chef in Austin. And so we just went over for that night, like instead of meeting them out for dinner. And
Oh.
it was so fun. And I was like, I would never have done that in my own city, but because they were here from out of town, I was like, this is great. I honestly feel like it would be fun to just do it like
Yeah.
a dinner
Like a
club,
little
like once a
staycation.
month,
Yeah.
like you get your group of friends together and you'll have a personal, instead of going out to dinner,
I like it.
Well, especially in
Maybe-
Austin when you can't get a reservation.
you can't get it.
anywhere.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a
Anyway.
washed dinner. I can't offer at
We
my
should.
place because it's tiny, but anyone else got a house we could use?
A
Tweet
couple,
us.
I've seen a couple around. We can always go to Randy's place.
Yeah. Thanks, Randy.
Sally, do you have any shower thoughts before we get out of here?
Mine is like a shower kind of thought. I was just thinking today. I'll actually call it a breastfeeding thought because I
Nursing.
spend
That's
a
where you
lot
have
of
your best
a lot of my
thoughts.
time doing that.
Nice.
Do y'all ever just like get on maps and like look at random places and like just see what's
Sally, literally every day of my life.
so?
Wait, what do you mean?
Like just like search some random places where you're just like looking at maps, just looking at.
Are you looking like you see a place on Instagram and you click on it and zoom out and see where it is?
Sometimes,
or you're
or,
just
like, the other
on
day-
your map on Google and just
Like-
swiping your phone.
No, but the other day I was just like,
That's literally what I do.
no, I do that
what do
too.
you mean?
No, I
Oh my
like
God.
Like
so we were
this?
watching Formula One and there was a race in Azerbaijan,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just started looking at all the countries around Azerbaijan. I
Yep.
was like, oh, there's Georgia, oh, there's Tajikistan, like,
Well, I
there's
do-
Iran.
I guess I do that sometimes in like other countries. I'm like, oh, what is that close to? And you just do one of these. You're just
Oh,
like
yeah.
zooming out, and then I'm like, wow, I never realized Toronto was like right there.
I spent like a lot of time the other day because we are trying to plan a little like long weekend looking at all of the little islands like off the coast of Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. And I was like, all right, there's Kiowa, there's Seabrook, there's Hilton Head. Like
I do
just-
that a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
with other, like when I see something on Instagram and I'm like, that place looks dope. Where is that? And then I'm like, how would I
Just
get
spend
there?
some
And
time map surfing. It's a treat.
I'm such a that's a great term for it.
map
I'm a
head.
map surfer.
Are you a
Map
map head?
surfer.
I'm such a map head. Usually
Sally's
it's
just nursing, and she's like, Fritz, move over. I can't see
No,
the
but I
map.
really enjoy it. I don't know why. I'm like, I could just be in Savannah, just pop up to Charleston.
Yeah,
I
big
just-
Sally. It's a big world out
Oh
there.
yeah. You ever do Street View too?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can basically get on. Oh, Sally, we got to discuss this after the
We gotta-
pod. I do this all
yeah.
the time. Mostly it's out of like Zillow too. I'm like the Zillow head.
Oh yeah.
So you go on Zillow and find like.
I will, on that note, say sometimes I just think about like how many people are out there, and I'm like, there's literally people living in this island that I'm like, what?
yeah.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
Like, there's just billions of other people out there living in other places. It's like mind-boggling.
You know what I do on that same note, Lily, is I go to like a random island in the middle of the Pacific, like a volcano island. I go in, I'm like, oh my God, there's a little village here. And then I try to street view like the little village, like tiki bar, and be like, I want to go there someday.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do
I
that
do
all
that
the
when
time.
I'm
Brett's gonna
driving.
be the person who like finds the person in the middle of the ocean like with a sign. People are like,
Help me. I do that when we drive to Houston and we go to those towns that are like 600 people. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
people live here. What
Yeah.
what do they do for jobs? Like, there's a Dairy Queen worker, but then someone like has this nice home on all these acres. What does that guy do in, I don't even know, in town?
Bumfuck, Texas.
Yeah.
Brenham.
Random
Shouts
place.
to Brenham.
No, Brenham's
Brenham's
like big.
big.
Hello, Bluebell.
This is
okay.
this is like
Car-
those
Carmine?
tiny towns that are like less than 1,000 people that you drive through on 71.
Belleville.
Yeah, and you're
Bell-
like,
Columbus.
people literally live here at all ages of life.
Oh yeah. There's Giddings.
You're
I'm thinking of
naming
two- I'm-
actual towns.
I'm thinking of
that
like
are
290 and
cities.
7. Okay.
Yeah.
These are like, I can't even think of the name because the town is literally so fast that you drive through it, but you have to slow down.
You have to slow down. They'll pop you for that.
Oh,
You're going
yeah.
like 83.
That's one of their
and then all-
jobs.
One stoplight
Police
town.
officer in that town.
Yeah.
Okay, a lot of shower thoughts.
A lot of shower thoughts. That'll do it for the Mail-In podcast, guys. Did you have a good time?
I had a great,
great time.
Sorry
Thank
we
you.
talked so fast over each other a lot.
Sally and I discussed this on the way here. We don't get to talk to like adult humans that often, so we kind of go crazy when we get to.
Yeah,
oh,
we've
man. Well, it was a good time.
Yeah.
We'll have to have you guys on again. That was a blast. I
Thanks.
caught Adam laughing multiple
I
times. So that's when you
appreciate it,
know.
Adam.
Adam, you thought we were funny. Well, at least
Um,
someone does.
In conclusion, subscribe, rate 5 stars, review, and tell a friend about the Mail-In podcast. Hit the hotline, 888-362-MAIL. That's 888-362-6245. Or you can write in at the link in the Twitter bio. We had a ton of questions this week. I couldn't get to them all. Thank you for writing in at Mail-In Podcast. We will see you guys next week. Thank you, Lily. Thank you, Sally. Talk to you guys later.
We'll be back.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bang.